Logan Paul actually does some wild.
He's really good.
He does some wild.
He really does.
Jumping off the top ropes and slamming into each other in the middle. Like, that's some serious athleticism.
Yeah, I tell them, both those kids are half tough.
Worst fight ever. Boxing experts react to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, the fight absolutely no one asked for, but somehow everyone's morbidly curious about. Jake, fresh off his I'm a Real Boxer tour, decides that fighting a literal legend who once terrified the world is a great next move. Let's see how that works out. And let's not forget the fans. Half are watching to see if Jake miraculously wins, and the other half are here for the inevitable meme-worthy moment when he realizes he's in the ring with Mike Tyson, not another influencer.
The broadcast team was debating what you were doing with your glove. Was it a mouthpiece issue, or were you just biting on your glove? What was that? Could you tell us?
Oh, I have a habit of biting my gloves when I fight, yes.
Why do you do that?
I have a bite.
Mike Tyson casually admitted he fought with an injury, but refused to use it as an excuse. "If I did, I wouldn't be in here," he said, as if anyone thought this fight was about athletic integrity. Then there was the glove biting. The commentators thought Tyson had a technical issue, but no, he just has a habit. "I have a biting fixation," he explained, because apparently gnawing on gloves is the latest boxing innovation.
Were you dealing with an injury going into the fight?
Yeah, but I can't use that for an excuse, because if I did, I wouldn't be in here.
No.
He wants to fight Mike, I think.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape.
Mike Tyson, by the way, isn't just any 55-year-old. He's a 55-year-old science experiment powered by hormones, electric muscle zapping, and a daily reminder that he can obliterate a punching bag, and probably Jake without breaking a sweat. The guy trains with Rafael Cordero, an MMA coaching legend, while Jake trains with, well, his ego. The weigh-in turned into a way out for Jake Paul when Mike Tyson's legendary hands delivered a surprise slap. Was it a pre-fight handshake gone wrong, or Tyson reminding Jake who's boss in the world of boxing? Jake's face now has the honor of wearing Tyson's signatures in handprint form. Social media exploded faster than Jake could say, "It was just for show." The internet's already making memes. Paul versus Tyson, but the undercard is Jake versus his ego. One thing's certain, Tyson still got it, and Jake might want to reconsider any future weigh-ins with the champ.
100%. And that Tommy Fury fight really showed that.
Of course, Jake thinks he has a chance. Maybe he watched Mike's exhibition with Roy Jones Jr. and thought, "Oh, he didn't punch Roy in the face, so I'll be fine." Spoiler alert, there won't be any gentlemen's agreements this time. If Mike decides to swing, Jake might find himself rethinking his entire career path mid-punch. Mike Tyson recently took the time to explain his devastating but loss to Jake Paul, though, of course, it wasn't an excuse, no matter how much it sounded like one. "I don't make excuses," Tyson stated, making sure we all understood that, despite being less than 100% and somehow not elaborating on exactly what that meant, the loss was still Jake's win. "Sure, Mike, absolutely." Jake Paul, a guy whose toughest opponent so far has been a YouTube algorithm, somehow managed to take down a former heavyweight champion. Tyson's willingness to not make excuses had everyone on the edge of their seats. But you could almost hear the wink as he lightly dropped the injury for good measure. Naturally, Jake wasn't about to let the chance slip by to rub it in. "Respect to the legend," he posted, not so subtly following it up with, "But a win's a win," because why wouldn't you kick someone when they're already down?
Say right now, is this possibly the last time for you?
I don't think so.
You've got more in you. Who comes to mind?
Well, I don't know. Maybe his brother.
You want to fight Logan? Logan, I think he said you might be next. I'll kill you, Mike. No, please, no.
It is on then.
Just don't step on his toes. It's all forgiven between you two because yesterday it got pretty personal and heated.
That happens when you're in a fight. You get in the moment.
When asked if this was his last fight, Tyson dismissed the idea, claiming he had more in him. More what? Biting? Banter? Whatever it is, he hinted at facing Logan Paul next. Maybe his brother, Tyson quipped. Because clearly the Paul brothers are the pinnacle of the sport now. And the pre-fight drama? Water under the bridge. Tyson called the slap he received a good slap, sounding more impressed than annoyed. Who needs grudges when you can just add to the spectacle? Boxing fans came for a fight but left wondering if they'd accidentally turned into a comedy special.
Canelo, Mayweather, when you see something like the Jake Paul and the Mike Tyson thing coming up right now, I've heard you make comments about it already, and I even remember your interview with Jake. Matter of fact, if you have that clip, Rob, and I love the way you're doing it, and you know what I love about this clip? Well, let me first have the audience watch this. This is Eddie. You're telling Jake he's average, and you're trying to tell him that, trust me telling you you're average is a compliment, and he's having a hard time with it. Go ahead and play this.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson matchup is here to redefine cringeworthy. On one side, there's Jake Paul, a dedicated fighter with a whole 4 or 5 years of training under his belt. Sure, he's average, but hey, average is a compliment for someone who stepped into boxing after TikTok dances. The sheer audacity to call this a competitive matchup is laughable. It's like putting a toddler in a race against a Formula One car and calling it a fair contest. So sure, let's pretend this is going to be competitive. But let's not fool ourselves into thinking Jake Paul is about to do anything other than play the role of a punching bag for a legend who's been retired long enough to know better. On one side of the ring, we have Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion of the world, a legend whose career peaked 25 years ago. At 58 years old, Tyson's retirement has lasted longer than Jake Paul's entire career, which, let's be honest, hasn't been long enough for him to even count as a real boxer. Yet somehow, this is being pitched as a competitive fight? Let's dive into this absurdity. Tyson, the man who famously bit off a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear and knocked out opponents with the sheer ferocity of a wild animal, is now a 58-year-old retired fighter with decades of wear and tear on his body. Let's not forget, Jake's greatest claim to fame isn't his ability to throw a punch. It's the fact that he can knock out YouTubers and MMA fighters in what's essentially a glorified slap fight. But now he's stepping up to fight a living legend who has actually fought and won against the world's most fearsome athletes.
1 minute, how do you even assess how good I was?
Well, because I said I didn't know. And actually,
But you called me average after 1 minute. But you called me after 1 minute of my first professional fight?
No, but you're still average. You're not.
It's not true. I just beat a 5-time world
beat a
champion.
UFC.
You don't even know. You don't know my ability though.
That's true. That's true.
You don't.
I don't know where you might go. I just give you where I think you're at, which I'm entitled to, which is average. Average is very complimentary.
Experts are struggling to hold back their enthusiasm, well, sarcasm, about the historic clash. Tyson's unmatched power and legacy meet Jake Paul's social media clout. What could go wrong? Maybe Jake lands a punch on a man who once terrified the heavyweight division. Or maybe Tyson's 58-year-old joints decide they've had enough mid-round. Either way, this fight is a cash grab dressed up as a spectacle. Netflix, in a stroke of brilliance, decided this masterpiece didn't belong on pay-per-view. Subscriptions only, folks, because what better way to sell streaming than a fight no one asked for? Experts predict huge numbers, and by huge, they mean enough to fuel more pointless matchups in the future. Meanwhile, boxing's legacy gets dragged another mile through the mud, leaving fans wondering when the sport turned into reality TV.
UFC fighters react to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Why? Nah, this is dark. How the hell did they allow Tyson to fight when he can't move well at all? How could he win if he can't close the distance? Can't keep tuning into this madness. Happy Tyson got to make some money. I didn't get hurt, but...
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. No, it's not a dream. It's just apparently happening. And predictably, the UFC roster is having a field day. Sean Strickland, ever the comedian, couldn't resist. What's next, Jake versus a T-Rex? Oh, Sean, it's 2024. Anything is possible at this point. Conor McGregor, the master of timing, added his 2 cents. I'd fight the winner if they make it out alive. Classic Conor, always ready to pounce on a publicity stunt. We can just imagine the thought process. Fighter of the decade? Nah. Who's next in the unrealistic matchups queue? And then there's Nate Diaz, who somehow made it even weirder. I'll ref it for free. No gloves needed. So, let's get this straight, Nate. No gloves? Really? This is the kind of match where we might need a referee, but not for the reasons you think. Meanwhile, Daniel Cormier, ever the realist, added, if Mike sneezes, Jake's career ends. Ouch. Someone get Jake a box of tissues, because we all know Cormier's not wrong. One slip from Tyson, and it's curtains for Paul. Honestly, they could charge extra just for the anticipation of watching that disaster unfold. And Dana White? Oh, he's probably already drafting a new ticket pricing strategy. Double them, triple them. Who cares? People are going to watch the chaos unfold regardless of whether it makes sense. After all, who needs logic when you've got pay-per-view? In the end, love it or hate it, we're all in. Jake versus Tyson might just be the most absurd thing to ever happen. But hey, we'll still be buying the tickets.